So 2024 has brought out its first big surprise, the Starvis2 powered budget dashcam, the 70mai M200. It's been with me for a few days now, for a few weeks now, and I have been testing it out, and the quality of the video is really impressive. And since this is the first dashcam with the Starvis2, I do think that most of the other dashcams and most of the other manufacturers will also start putting up Starvis2 in their low-end dashcams as well. Well, that's to see in the times to come. But based on what I've seen in this dashcam, it does offer a good value for money. I mean, I would take a Starvis2 sensor enabled dashcam any day compared to a dashcam which doesn't have a Starvis2, mainly for the low light performance, the night performance. So in this video, I'll be showing you a deep look into the video quality of this dashcam, take a look at its technical specifications, and also show you the number plate readability in day and night conditions, and which areas are the best strong working conditions for this dashcam, and in which areas the dashcam does struggle a little bit. So you're watching Travel Tech, and let's get started. So taking a look at the overall video quality of the M200 during the daytime, well, let's skip daytime and let's talk specs. This has a 1920 x 1080p resolution at a proper 30 frames per second. It has about 12,000 kbps bitrate and about 100 MB of file size per minute of video recorded. Now the overall daytime footage does seem pretty awesome, I think. I mean, the saturation, exposure, contrast levels do look pretty balanced, and for the price you're paying for it, that is about 4,999 rupees, you cannot get any better video time quality at that price point. Coming to the nighttime footage, due to the Starvis2 sensor, everything looks so much more better. I mean, there is very minimum amount of glare even from the headlights coming in from the opposite direction, and you can even read the nameplates and the signboards of all the shops on the roadsides. The video looks much contrasty, and the darker areas tend to look even more darker compared to, I think, the other dash cameras, as just I had shown you in my previous unboxing video of the 70mai M200. The overall night footage is worth for the price you're paying for it. So coming to the license plate readability, I have paused the video at a certain point. Now I can see two different cars here, the one on the right, the Kia, and the one on the left, the blue color Toyota. The car on the right is pretty close to me, about a distance of 5 to 10 feet, and if I zoom in on its number plate, a very decent read of the number plate. I mean, you can even more or less make out the IND lettering right next to the K letter, and even the name Seltos is sort of visible. I mean, not entirely, but yeah, you can still somewhat make it out. So 1080p cameras at a close range perform really well, I think about a distance of 5 to 10 feet, and this camera is also no exception. Close range, it can handle all things exceptionally well. So let's move on and zoom in on the vehicle. On the left, the blue Toyota, about a distance of 15 to 20 feet, I think. And the number plate read starts to get blurry. I mean, this is a common thing with 1080p cameras. As the distance increases, the number plate will start to get blurred. And in this specific example, you can more or less make out the number plate, but you cannot make out the name of the car or anything else that's written on the back, just like we could in the just shown previous example. There's a very minimal to nil amount of noise in this specific zoomed in sample, and that's a good thing. The overall readability at this distance of 15 to 20 feet is quite decent. Let's move on and take a look at another sample. So in this, the car is more than, I think, 20 feet away, and if I take a look at its number plate, so this is kind of the make or break point, 20 feet plus. All 1080p cameras more than 20 feet, I don't think they'll be able to handle number plate reads. You would need a 4K camera for it. But in spite of having a lesser resolution, even in this specific example, you can more or less make out the number plate, I think. I mean, it looks somewhat difficult to make it out, not entirely, but hey, you do need to remember that you're not paying a premium price for this dashcam. You're paying less than 5,000 rupees. So at that price point, this is the best this dashcam can do, and this is the best probably any other dashcam can do. Moving on to the number plate readability during night time. Now I've paused the video again at a certain point, so you can see the Renault Kwid on the left, and there's a Maruti Omni on the far right, and there's even a two-wheeler in between these two cars. If I take a look at the Kwid's number plate, so this is at a very close range, and you can notice that this number plate is under the glare of my headlights and even the headlights of the two-wheeler right behind it. So in spite of the glare of the headlights from two different vehicles, you can still make out the number plate at such a close range. So this is what I was expecting from this dash camera, to perform at least at this level, and it is performing right up to my expectation. At a close range, under the glare of headlights, you will be able to make out number plates. Zooming out and taking a look at the two other vehicles right in front of the Quid, the two-wheeler and the Maruti Omni. So here's where things get interesting. As shown in the previous example, during daytime, the higher the distance, the blurrier the number plate read gets. But in spite of it, I think even at a distance of 20 plus feet where the Maruti Omni is currently standing, and the two-wheeler with a relatively smaller size number plate with a certain level of difficulty, should I say moderate to higher level of difficulty, you will be able to make out number plates. But the fact that you cannot ignore is that more or less these two number plates are under the glare of one or the other headlights, and in spite of being so, this dash camera is able to give a proper exposure under this particular area, and you get certain letters and numbers visible on the screen, although not entirely well. You really cannot expect that under 5000, but for what it's worth, it's doing its job pretty well. So here's another example which I wanted you guys to take note. Now in the previous two examples where I showed you the night number plate readability, that was from the rear of the vehicles. So in such cases, no headlight is falling directly on the dash camera. You are only like getting the tail lights of the other cars. It's not as bright as the front headlight. So in this specific example, there's a car passing right in front of my car, and the glare of the headlights of that particular car are hitting the dash cam. And also the point to note is that this car was moving and was about to move right past me, and it wasn't stationary. And if I take a look at its number plate, so I specifically wanted to show you this number plate read so that you have some level of realistic expectation of what this budget camera can do. Simply for the fact that it has a Starvis2 sensor and it comes at a price of less than 5000 rupees doesn't make it work miracles. There will be some instances where you will not be able to read number plates, and when that happens, you're going to get this kind of a number plate read. So you need to have a very realistic and a practical expectation from the camera which you're purchasing. And in this example, I'm talking about the 70mai M200. So this was the overview of the video quality of the M200 powered with the Starvis2. Now there's a lot to say about the Starvis2 in this, but let me just give you an example. You all have smartphones, and probably all of you have the latest smartphones wherein it supports a 120Hz refresh rate. Now basically all smartphones came with a 60Hz refresh rate. 60Hz refresh rate, nobody noticed it exists until 120Hz came up, and 60Hz is pretty workable, pretty enjoyable, and it's a normal thing for any smartphone. But someone who has already used a 120Hz refresh rate won't probably like going back to the 60Hz because you see a noticeable difference. The Starvis2 in 1080p dashcams is just like that. Once you've seen a Starvis2 perform in a 4K resolution, you probably won't feeling like going back to a Starvis2 in a 1080p resolution. It makes a noticeable difference. But if you have never seen a 4K resolution combined with a Starvis2, you will definitely enjoy the Starvis2 in the 1080p resolution. So just compare it with a 60Hz refresh rate and a 120Hz refresh rate, and you get the idea what I'm trying to say to you. So that's the thing, Starvis2 works best when combined with the highest possible resolution. It works sort of well in the lesser resolution as well, but there's a noticeable difference when you compare both the resolutions. Now in order to show you this rather than tell you, I'll be bringing up a comparison of this dashcam, the 70mai M200, with the 70mai A810. Now that is a true 4K resolution combined with the power of Starvis2, and the A810 provides some of the finest video qualities that are available out there. So comparing this with the A810 will show you where both cameras stand, and after watching that video you will get an even better idea of the capability of this dashcam and the capability of the Starvis2 in a 4K resolution. So in order to make sure that you do not miss that interesting video, you need to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, and also don't forget to like this video if this video has helped you out as well. Also don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. If you have any doubts or queries regarding this, you can write that down in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.